Aston Villa failing to get into the top 5 this season for Premier League football, for Champions League football for next season. We are going to jump in here and do a 10-minute rebuild with the squad here. They finished in 6th in the Premier League, tied on points with Newcastle United, who finished in 5th. And on the final game day, all they had to do was get a point against Manchester United, in which they lost 2-0, where on possibly his last game day for the club, Mr. Emiliano Martinez, their goalkeeper, got sent off in that first half, and it led for Manchester United to eventually win this game 2-0, where they also had a decision where right before they scored their first goal for Man United, they should have had a pen for Aston Villa. The referee blew his whistle. They couldn't review it. Again, referees in Premier League in England are notoriously a horrible set of just idiots, in all honesty. So we're going to jump in here with 10 minutes with possibly like Emiliano Martinez possibly leaving. Obviously, we have Marcus Rashford and Senso still at the club. Marcus Rashford might become a permanent player. We're jumping here, give ourselves 10 minutes plus 100 million to try to improve on this team. The 10 minutes starts in 3, 2, 1, and 10 minutes is go. So first protocol is to get rid of Emiliano Martinez. We are going to replace him instantly there. Possibly improve our back line, maybe our midfield as well. And I would say our attack, but our attack is decent in all honesty. It could just be a bench job in all honesty. But 100 and how much million? 100 and how much million did we get on top of that? 139 million to spend in 10 minutes. We're going to hopefully spend it. Now, not every single player, well, every single player that I bring in probably has been linked to Aston Villa within the last 3 weeks. More recently than not, more maybe just fell out and was just complete, just a long shot. But somebody who was linked with them, maybe still is Alex Romero. We are going to just straight up do a straight up swap here, see what they say there with Emiliano Martinez. They say yes, perfectly that. Emiliano Martinez is technically better, so it will be theoretically better for him. But we also see that we're getting an older keeper, we're getting a younger keeper that can still grow and be better than him. And obviously he's going to want Crucial. Completely fine with me. He can have Crucial. He can have whatever. The best part of this is, oh, he's 29. I thought he was 26. He's 29 years old. Best part about this is we still have 147 million to spend, not 139, 147. So we're not spending a single thing. You can have 100K, you have 40K pay wage. You want a 390,000 signing bonus? Sure, you can have it. Welcome to the club. Now, someone who has been also linked with Aston Villa is left wing. We have a lot of left wingers on this team here, so we're going to try and get rid of them. In all honesty, John McGinn, we're going to try and get rid of him. We're going to offer him 32 million plus John McGinn, see what they say to that. They say yes, perfect deal. A perfect, pitch perfect deal here that can go on. He's going to want Crucial. We're going to change our formation just slightly to be able to accommodate these guys going left wing and not left mid, unless we change their positions to left mid. But for now, Pedro Gonzalez, welcome to the squad. 7 minutes still to go. And we are going to look to bring a certain man back and reunite him with Unai Emery. Matteo Guendouzi out of Lazio. He's been with Unai Emery at Arsenal. I think Unai Emery actually brought him into Arsenal. We are going to look to bring him in. Can we find a midfielder that we can possibly get rid of? I mean, we do have Amadou Onana, though. That is a crazy part. Do we just get rid of Ross Barkley, Amadou Onana? Do we do this deal? Actually, thinking about it, do we do this deal? Do we get rid of Tielemans that way he can play Guendouzi? I think we try and get rid of Tielemans that way Guendouzi can play. I think Tielemans could be on the way out this summer, in all honesty. I do see that possibly happening. Maybe we overpaid for the cash value on him. But we are going to look to bring in Matteo Guendouzi. He's going to want Crucial, completely fine, yes. 4-year contract deal, completely fine, yes. No release clause, completely fine with that. We might make a massive signing. I'm trying to think about it. We might just make a massive signing here to just to kick something off. But Matteo Guendouzi joins the club. Maybe not as massive as I envisioned, but we are going to look to try and bring in a player from the Champions League that we are going to obviously outdo Pau Torres for Sven Botman. Because I want Sven Botman to eventually play. Well, I want Sven Botman to play. But I want Pau Torres to also be part of the squad here as backup options through simulation here. We are going to go ahead and offer him Tyrone Mings plus 36 million. See what they say to that. Oh, they actually accept that. Okay. How much money will we have after this deal takes place here? So obviously going to do, we have 55 million. We could still maybe do a big deal. 5-year contract deal. I should have done him on Crucial. I'm going to have to change it. That way he is on Crucial and Pau Torres is on, like, rotation, to be honest. That's what I will have to do. I'm going to have to adjust some settings there. But Sven Botman joins the club. Maybe not be the last signing we make in the back line. This could be our last hurrah. I don't know if this would actually work because he is worth more than what we have to spend. But we're going to look to try and bring in Alphonso Davies. We could offer Ian Matson. It is obviously a clear improvement path there. But we could also offer Digne and see what they say to that real quick. And then just straight up offer him 45 million. See what they say to that with a 25% selling clause. See if they accept that. Will they accept Lucas Digne plus 45? No, they want Babaku Kamada plus 37 million. I'm not really willing to give away Kamada, so you can have Ian Matson plus 45 million with no release clause. See what you say to that. No, you want 84 million flat then. Well, I can only offer you 49 million in all honesty. So that's all I can offer you. If this fails, we do have a backup option. They said we'll need time for that. Don't know about that. We are just going to go ahead and go through our backup option, which is going to probably be the same route in Alejandro Balde. We are going to offer them. We're not going to mess around. We're just going to offer him Matson plus 42 million plus a 16% selling clause. See what they say to that. They say yes to that. I will go ahead and advance a couple days. I do prefer Alphonso Davies to Alejandro Balde, but if we had to bring in Alejandro Balde, we have to bring in Alejandro Balde. And they want 67 million, something we cannot afford. So Alejandro Balde, he's going to come into the squad instead of Alphonso Davies, which is fine. It's not like he's a horrible left back. It's not like he's a bad left back. I just prefer I prefer Alphonso Davies just in this scenario. Release clause, hopefully it doesn't get triggered within this 12-month span. You want 100K, you have 100K, you have a 20K pay-wise. Welcome to the club, and with 51 seconds, we are going to go ahead and just call the timer there. We're not going to have it, well, we don't have any money to bring anybody else in, and honestly, the team is good enough to compete, not just for top 4, but for some titles as well. And so here is the team. Pedro Gonzalez on the left-hand side. Ollie Watkins as our captain at striker. Marco Asensio on the right. And Morgan Rogers as a cam. Kamada and Guendouzi in the midfield. Alejandro Balde and Botman on the left-hand side of our defense with Consa and Cash on the right-hand side with Alex Romero in net between the sticks. Let's see what this team can do. We obviously want to finish in the top 4 in this title. It's not the top 5 because top 5 does not exist for Champions League football in FC 25. It is just the top 4. We also want to try and make a deeper cup run, whether that be Carabao Cup or FA Cup, or even are we in a European competition? We are, right? We're in the Champions League. Yeah, we are in the Champions League. Maybe make the quarterfinals, semifinals of the Champions League. That'd be great. We'll see what can happen. I'm gonna have to get through the preseason tournament and then go from there. And so in December, here we are. We go ahead and start the start of the season where we kicked it off with a 2-1 win against West Ham. We lose to Arsenal. We beat Leicester City, who should not actually be in this. I just simply forgot to swap them and Leeds United. I did swap Burnley and Sunderland with the other 2 that got relegated. I just forgot Leeds and Leicester, I guess. So that's on me. We unfortunately lose in the first round of the Carabao Cup to Millwall. In September, we kicked the Champions League campaign off with a 4-1 win against Young Boys, followed by 3 Premier League wins in a row against Everton, Wolves, and Sunderland. And then in October, we unfortunately do go ahead and pick up a 3-0 loss against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. We bounced back with a 2-0 win against Man United, where if they would have just done that in real life, I wouldn't be here doing this rebuild. A win followed that by Fulham, and then they win back in the win column for the Champions League, where we beat Bologna 2-1 there. We beat AFC Bournemouth 4-0 in the league, and then in November, we lose to Tottenham 2-1. We beat Club Brugge 4-2. We lose to Liverpool 2-0. We beat Crystal Palace, and then we unfortunately again lose in Champions League against Juventus, where we now sit in December, where we have a relatively rough month. We have Chelsea, Man City, Brighton is relatively tough. Newcastle is definitely tough. RB Leipzig could be tough as well. We are currently sitting 4th in the Premier League, I should say. We are 2 points ahead of Arsenal. We are tied on points with 3rd place Liverpool. We are 1 point behind 2nd place Brighton, and at the top of the table, we are 7 points behind Manchester City. In the Champions League, we are currently sitting in 14th. So at the moment, we are in the playoffs. There is a possibility we get out of the playoffs and maybe into the top 8. We are currently 3 points behind the top 8 at the moment, so it's going to take a lot of work for us to get there and do it, but anything is possible. I will see y'all at the start of January for the next little mini update. And so in December, it followed like this: a 2-0 win against Chelsea, a 1-0 win against Brentford, a 2-0 win against Burnley. We unfortunately lose probably the most important game of the entire month of the Champions League, a 3-0 loss there. But we bounced back with a win against Nottingham Forest. We lose to Manchester City 3-2. We beat Newcastle 2-0. We draw to Brighton 1-1, which leads us into January, where we start our FA Cup journey against Watford at home. So hopefully we can try and make a deep run in the FA Cup instead of just the Carabao Cup. In the Premier League, we currently sit still in 4th. Arsenal leap above us. Brighton fall off slightly. Manchester City are still winning the league by 8 points to Liverpool. Still currently doing an invincible run at the moment. As far as the Champions League go, it's kind of set in stone that we will be in the playoffs. If we make the playoffs, there's a possibility we don't even make the playoffs. There's a possibility we don't even get out of the Champions League phase. We are currently 4 points off the top 8. So it is theoretically possible, but the teams above us are more than likely going to pick up points as well. So I will see y'all in February, where we are more than likely will be in the playoffs for Champions League football. And so in January, in the Champions League, we didn't even give it a try. We drew both games in the Champions League, 1-1 and 0-0 against AS Monaco and Celtics. So playoff football, hopefully we come. But as far as the rest of the game goes, we only draw one game of Premier League. We win the others, and then we beat Watford in the Premier League there, which now sees us sit in February, where we are Middlesbrough in the FA Cup and Benfica in the Champions League playoff around there. As far as the Premier League goes, we are still sitting top 4. We are just constantly sitting top 4. Manchester City are more than likely going to win the league, 10 points ahead of 2nd place Liverpool. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get out of Champions League football and into the round of 16. First round of the Champions League, or first leg, I should say, a 2-1 win there. So we go over to Benfica, over to Portugal in the Champions League second leg. In which in that second leg, it finished a nil. No, did it finish 0-0? It finished... What did it finish? Oh, it finished a 2-0 win. It said 0-0, then it said penalties. I don't know. A 2-0 win, 2-1 win. We move on 4-1. And now in March, oh my God. So the reward for getting through the round of 16 is facing off against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Well then, we're out of the Champions League. We're still in the FA Cup. At least that's good. Let's see if we can somehow maybe get past Real Madrid. We at least beat Luton Town in the FA Cup 4-1 there. First leg of Champions League football, we lose 3-0. And in the second leg here, we are obviously knocked out, but maybe, oh, nope, okay, never mind. We lose 4-2 there, so 7-2 on aggregate. We are out of the Champions League. We didn't really give it a try, in all honesty, but what can you do? We can just hope and pray that we somehow make the run in the FA Cup, where only Man City, Spurs, and Liverpool are kind of notable teams there. I guess Newcastle, but one of Liverpool and Newcastle had to get knocked out. So I will see y'all at the start of May, the last month of the season, where hopefully we're in the Champions, in the FA Cup final. And so in March, following the defeats in the Champions League, we beat Liverpool 2-1. We beat West Ham in the FA Cup 2-1, which means a trip to Wembley for the semifinals. And then in April, a draw against Brighton, a win against Nottingham Forest, a win against against Burnley, a win against Newcastle, a win in the FA Cup semifinals against Tottenham. So back-to-back Wembley trips. We have made a domestic cup final where we will be playing against Manchester City in the FA Cup final, and this month in totality is kind of hard as well. We have Man City back-to-back games in the league and the cup. We have Tottenham and Man United to wrap up there. So we have 5 games left to go in the league, 6 games left to go in totality. We are currently sitting in third. We will not be lifted. Well, we could theoretically fight for the Premier League title if we are to somehow beat Manchester City and they drop more points there, but at the moment it's looking like Man City will still go ahead up and winning the league, maybe Liverpool, and at the moment Arsenal and Tottenham are the 2 teams fighting for that top 4, that 4th spot there. At the bottom is it what I expect. It's Sunderland, Bournemouth, and Brentford. Brentford is struggling on this game for some reason. Out of nowhere, they are just struggling. Burnley are 6 points clear at the moment with 4 games left to go. We will go ahead and get to the FA Cup final, where hopefully we have already beat Man City the days before that, and we can see what the boys can do in that FA Cup. A win against Fulham, a win against Bournemouth, but unfortunately a loss against Manchester City in the league there. We are sitting now in that league in second. We are 11 points off of Man City, so Man City are going to win the league. We are relatively safe from top 4, but we can still get knocked out of top 4, which if this was top 5 was Champions League like it was in real life, we'd be safe because Chelsea are, well, 5 points behind them, 9 points behind us. Now for the big choice, can we get a trophy this season? Can we beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final? The answer is no. Ollie Watkins scored in the 73rd minute, but Marmoush again goes ahead and scores 2 goals to give Manchester City back-to-back wins against us and give them a second trophy essentially there, as they will go ahead and win the Premier League as well. Well, we unfortunately don't make a FA Cup final, or we make a FA Cup final. We don't win the FA Cup final, I should be saying. This game against Tottenham is actually going to be massive as well. We'll determine whether or not we will stress going into that final game day, and we will stress as we lose 3-1 to Tottenham. And the final game day of the season, a 3-1 win for Aston Villa over Manchester United. As we go ahead and just simulate one more week here just to get every European competition done and over with. That way we can do a full proper little rebuild there. And so, Man City are your Premier League champions, finishing with 99 points. Tottenham in second on 88. Aston Villa in third with 87. And Arsenal in fourth with 86. Liverpool, Premier League champions for the 20th time so far this season IRL. They finish in fifth in this little rebuild season. Well then, there is that. Going down, it is Sunderland, Bournemouth, and Brentford. Brentford go down off a goal difference thanks to Wolves United, also sitting on 29 points as well. The FA Cup obviously goes to Manchester City. Y'all know that. Y'all seen that. The Carabao Cup goes to Manchester City, so they win a domestic treble in that. The Champions League final goes to Real Madrid. They beat PSG in the Champions League final. The Europa League goes to FC Porto. They beat Galatasaray in the final. And then the Conference League final goes to Chelsea. They beat Stade Rennes in the Conference League final there as well. So a domestic treble for Manchester City, beating us both in the FA Cup and obviously the Premier League as well. Our top goal scorer was Ollie Watkins with 23 goals. Pedro Gonçalves also had 22 goals as well. Marco Asensio on loan had 17 goals and 10 assists. I can only assume that Marcus Rashford got recalled. I can only assume Marcus Rashford got recalled. He did not get recalled. Did he get recalled? He's a left mid. He did get recalled. So Marcus Rashford got recalled in January. So it was out Marcus Rashford for the second half of the season. That's going to be the end of this rebuild. It's technically a success because we got into Champions League football and made a cup run there and got into the final of the FA Cup. I'll see y'all for the next rebuild on Monday. Until then, leave a like, subscribe, and peace out.